Howdy everyone, it's your buddy BP, and before I begin this little rant I'm about to go on, I just want to say two things. First off, I've already done a review of the Star Wars movie. I'll leave a link to it in the description for anyone who wants to watch it. Long story short, I love like 95% of it. I mostly think it's a great film, so I'm not like trashing the whole movie because of this. This is just one part of the film that really bugged me, and I just had to talk about it. So yeah, just a heads up, just to let you know I'm not trashing the movie. I like the movie. It's just this one part of the movie I don't like. Second thing I want to mention is that I'm also going to be dropping a few spoilers in this video. Not all of them, but a few spoilers just for the sake of me having to explain why I feel this way about this plot device. But yeah, moving on into it, the plot device I'm talking about here in the movie is the Starkiller Base. And for those of you who don't remember, Starkiller Base is basically new Death Star. There's even a whole scene in the film where all of our protagonists are in the same room, and they're all discussing the Starkiller Base. They're going, what is it? And then they say, oh, it's a planet where they just built a death cannon into the side of it, and that death cannon can destroy entire star systems, which is just ridiculous, of course. I mean, the Death Star is already kind of ridiculous as it is, and then they go ahead and just make Ultra Mega Super Death Star. And of course, everyone's like, you know, how do we blow it up and all that? You know, because, you know, in Star Wars universe, doesn't matter how big it is, you can always blow it up. But, and I wasn't thinking too much about it. I thought it was kind of silly and ridiculous when I was watching the movie. I felt like I had to stifle a laugh because of how absurd it is. There's even a whole scene where they're all like, oh, so it's basically the Death Star where he blew up in the last two movies. And they're all like, no. See, Death Star was this big. Starkiller Base is this big. And they have like a holographic projection of the two with Starkiller Base dwarfing the Death Star. And it's kind of comically absurd. I didn't think too much about it at the time when I was watching the movie because I was so engrossed in the story. But the more I thought about it later on after the movie was over, the more it started bugging me. And one of the first things that bugs me is it's not practical compared to the Death Star. I mean, think about it. The thing about the Death Star is that it's a space station. You can move it around in three-dimensional space. You can rotate it. You can position its little death ray or whatever it was to shoot at whatever. You know, it's a space station. You can't do that with a planet. You know, it rotates around a star at a fixed orbit. It rotates around its axis at a fixed speed. Okay, it's not exactly fixed because of gravity and all that, but you see what I'm saying here. You can't do that with a planet. Or if you had enough space magic mumbo-jumbo to do it, you couldn't do it without killing everyone on the planet and destroying all the infrastructure you built to build the damn thing in the first place. So yeah, you can't do it. The only way that thing would be able to shoot another planet would be if that planet was on the exact same two-dimensional horizontal plane of space as its equator. Because, I mean, it can't shoot at something, you know, to the north of it that's, you know, parallel to its North Pole. You couldn't do that. You know, it wouldn't work. It had to all be on the same plane. And yet, somehow, despite that, this base is not able to just aim its death cannon or whatever the hell it was at the Hosnian Prime planet or the Hosnian system, which just so happens to be the seat of the New Republic Senate, but just a few hours after it destroys that, it can aim at Dakar, where, again, coincidence, there just so happens to be the Rebel base. I mean, think about that. I mean, what are the odds? All on the same two-dimensional plane of space in the galaxy. You know, it's just absurd. But here's the craziest part. On the scene where they shoot the beam of energy, or whatever the hell it was, to destroy Hosnian Prime, when they shoot it, it arrives there in like moments, like almost instantly. And I'm thinking, how is that possible? I mean, if the only way it could arrive there that quick was if they were in the same star system, but that doesn't make sense because that's the seat of the Senate. They would be all like, oh, why is the New Order moving in next door? And why are they building a giant cannon of genocidal death pointed at us? You know, they send in their military, or at the very least evacuate the planet. You know, that doesn't make sense. But, oh, they explain this away by saying that the Starkiller Base is in a different star system, and the reason it can fire this cannon and it doesn't take years for it to reach Hosnian Prime, because of, you know, the distances between stars and space and the speed of light, is because this beam of energy somehow is able to move faster than light. And I'm thinking, okay, nah. No, that's some BS science. That ain't right. And yeah, I know you're saying, you know, it's Star Wars, lightsabers, and warp speed and all that. But even within that context, if that beam of light could hypothetically hit Hosnian Prime in an instant, then why does it slow down when it reaches the planet? There's like a shot right before the beam from the Starkiller Base is reaching Hosnian Prime, and it's clearly not moving faster than light. And there's a big shot of everyone on the planet emerging from their homes and gawking up at the sky with their mouths hanging open going, oh shit, right before they all die. And I'm thinking, no, that wouldn't make sense. Considering it was moving faster than light, that scene wouldn't have happened. It would be like being hit by a sniper bullet that's moving faster than sound. You wouldn't hear bang and then turn to look and go, oh, what was that? And then be hit by the bullet. You would be hit by the bullet first because it's outpacing the sound it's producing. If that beam of light was indeed hypothetically moving faster than light, then it would have hit Hosnian Prime before they would have saw it. They would have all just been sitting in their homes, twiddling their thumbs, and all of a sudden, bam, everyone's dead and they don't even realize it, right? I mean, if it was moving faster than light, then it would have hit the planet before the rays of light that would have enabled the people of Hosnian Prime to gawk up in horror and see it coming in the first place would have hit them, right? How does that work? Why does it slow down? Does the beam contain sentient intelligence and it's able to pause for dramatic effect? You know, it doesn't even work within the context of its own ridiculous explanation as to how it can do this. Oh, and when it recharges the beam, the Starkiller Base, what it does is it turns to face its sun and it pulls the energy from the sun. There's like a shot in the movie where it's like pulling waves of solar energy into the cannon. I'm watching this happen and I'm like, yeah, okay, does it run on unicorn farts too? But yeah, anyway, you know what? I'm done talking about this. I'm so done talking about this. I know this is a weird video. It's very different from what I've normally done. I'll be back to playing Destiny and all that good stuff shortly, but this is something that has been bugging me since I first saw that movie last week, and I've been waiting a week so everyone has an opportunity to go see the movie, because I know I'm dropping spoilers here, but oh my goodness. It's just been driving me nuts, and I had to rant about it, and I've been having a hard time finding someone who's already seen it. I'm like the first person in my circle of friends and family who've seen the movie, and it's just, I have to rant about it. It's just so comically stupid. But yeah, thank you for sticking with me for this. If you agree with me that this whole Starkiller Base thing is absolutely absurd, then spank that like button. Also, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section if you have any feedback for me, or if you have any more observations about this ridiculous plot device in the new Star Wars movie that doesn't make sense that I just happened to miss. And as always, y'all be good to each other, and I will see you in the next video.